Hello, my lovely witches. Whew. So, life has been a challenge. And because of that, I haven't really got much in the way of new art magic to show you. So I thought I'd bring you a little video of what I am doing in my downtime lately. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. Anyway, so I think I'm going to do this in two parts, this video. So this is going to be part 1, and then there will be a part 2 coming out a little bit after that. But I'm going to do a book and deck chat. So as I said, I haven't had a lot of time for doing lots of art magic. I've been doing bits and pieces here and there, but I don't have a lot to show you that's new. So other things that I have been doing when I am tired and not in a creative frame of mind has been working with some of my oracle decks and tarot decks. And I've got a few new ones or a few that I'm working with at the moment and really enjoying. So I thought I'd show you those. And there's also a bunch of books that I have been delving into recently. Some of them a bit more of a dipping into here or there. Others more of a read from cover to cover and really absorb everything. So yeah, that's what this video, or these two videos, because it is going to be too long, I think, for one video. So these two videos are going to be about decks and books. So I'm going to start with the decks because I have them sitting here next to me. I do have a paint on my hands. So you see, I have been doing a little bit of creating. I've been painting myself a pentacle tray in purples and greens. So I have purple and green paint. Apologies. I have washed my hands, but it's acrylic paint. Doesn't come off that easily. I need to scrub it. So, okay, let's just dive straight in. So this tarot deck, the Tales of the Mystical Cats tarot deck, is one that I've had for a little while. And I have mentioned it, at least on my Instagram. I maybe even mentioned it in a video, and I had a few people say, oh, can you do a flip through? Can you do a flip through? I don't really do flip throughs. I actually personally don't. I find them a bit boring. I like to see a vibe or flavour of a deck, you know, before I buy it, perhaps. Or I might get inspired by seeing that, but I can't sit through a whole deck flip through. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch of decks, and I'm not going to show you every card in any of them. But I am just going to pull out a few of my favourite cards to show you. So this deck is, obviously it's a cat deck. I have probably 5 or 6 different cat decks. You know, I have a lot of cats too. So, yep. And this one is a definite, it's really up there. It's really, really beautiful artwork by Mickey Mueller, and just a really lovely deck. It's a nice size. I like a good deck that's not too big for me, but I also don't want it too tiny. So you can see 3 of 5. I love this. So the suits are all done as elements, earth, air, fire, water, and we have just beautiful cats. This is the 8 of earth, or 8 of pentacles. Yeah, that would be hard work having that many kittens. Isn't that gorgeous though? I hope this is not reflecting too badly in the video, because I do have the light on because it's winter and it's a bit dark outside. So apologies if this gets a bit reflective and shiny. There's not much I can do about it when the cards are shiny. I love this Chariot card because it's pulled by these 2 Great Danes. It's just stunning. I love it. And this is another favorite card, the Lovers, with these 2 curled up together. I know a number of you have said, where's Godric? Because he hasn't appeared in a video recently. Mostly that has been because this room where I film my videos, or mostly film my videos, is my library. And I say that because literally one whole wall of this room is bookshelves from floor to ceiling. I will do a tour of it at some point. And it has a couple of sofas in it. And it's, apart from when I'm filming videos, it's pretty much a no technology zone. It's a library for reading and sitting and being quite calm. But for the last, it is about 6 or 8 weeks now, we have had a 4th cat in the household. My father has gone into an aged care facility, and his beautiful tabby cat, Leo, I think I mentioned him in my last video. He has been living in this room. Now, I have been trying very hard to find him a new home because my kitty cats aren't very happy with me having a new cat in the house. Alas, so far to no avail. So I am attempting to introduce him to the rest of the family. So the door is open. Currently I have Nefertiti and Godric in the room. Godric is sitting in Leo's basket because possession is 9/10 of cat law. And Leo is in the living room. So I don't know, we could end up with complete cat chaos because, you know, we're all a little bit on edge. Little whiskers are sticking out and we're a little bit tense. Or we might not. And I don't know if Godric will make an appearance or voice his opinions about any of this. Anyway, that got me off track, didn't it? So the Tales of the Mystical Cats deck, highly recommend. The artwork is stunning. I love the way it reads. It's got a really beautiful vibe. I love this tower card. How cool is this? It's absolutely a cat tree. It's a lot easier for me to deal with than the terrifying tower that's actually, you know, struck by lightning and everyone's dying. I'm terrified of the tower card. I know you're not supposed to be scared of any cards, but guess what? I'm scared of the tower card. It's never come up in a reading for me and boded well, put it that way. Anyway, the Sky King. Gorgeous. So, highly recommend the deck. It's got a really soft feel to it. It reads very softly. It's not one of those decks that punches you in the face. It's got a real cat energy. Oh, hello. Leo has come to join us. Hello, Leo. So highly recommend. I have taken this out of its box and I've been using this gorgeous bag. I do like to keep my decks in bags. Just feels like they're snuggled in. These are sari silk bags. And I remember when I was a teenager and bought my first tarot deck, it was advised by the seller of tarot decks that I purchased it from that a tarot deck had to be kept in silk. That's a silly rule. I mean, keep your tarot deck in whatever you want to keep your tarot deck in. But she advised that I wrap it in silk. And so, because I have a number of these sari silk pouches, you can find them quite easily on Etsy or even eBay, even in bulk. So I have quite a number of them, and ever since that piece of advice, it's been like, oh, that's quite a nice synchronicity to keep some of my decks in these bags. So there's our first deck. The second one I will show you, I might actually show you a book, just because we're on the topic of tarot. This is a book, again, I've had for a long time. Well, a long time, probably 2 or 3 years. I'm not sure exactly. I don't even know when it was published. It's a fairly modern book, but it's not super recent. So 2019 it came out. Yeah, I've had it for 2 or 3 years. Tarot for Self-Care. This is a really lovely way to work with tarot. I find this book is great for interpreting messages for tarot, and you know, she gives you interpretations and meanings of the cards, both upright and reversed. I don't read reversals. Okay, chaos, another cat in the room. But if you do, it has reversals in here as well. But it doesn't just have, you know, interpretations of the cards. It's got these really lovely self-care card activities for mind, body, and spirit for every single card. So you can pull a tarot card and it gives you some options for self-care, which I love. So the Four of Wands, for example, mind, ask friends for podcast suggestions and listen to them while you do chores around the house. Body, sign up for a yoga class. Spirit, what are you most thankful for? Make a gratitude list to help you stay mindful and appreciative of all the beauty in your life. So it's really nice. I really like it. You know, ideas to rearrange your furniture, re-energize yourself by doing cardio workout, or hydrate your skin. Lots of really lovely options, and each one associated with a tarot card. So you can pull a card. Oh, we're about to have ructions, I think. I have two tabby cats looking at each other. Leo is now looking at Godric in his basket and saying, "Oi, what's this dude doing in my basket?" Anyway, hopefully we don't end up with fur flying and hissing and spitting, but we might. So on the tarot deck side of things, I have two more tarot decks that I'm working with at the moment that I'm loving. This one is, I think, my favourite tarot deck ever now. As I've mentioned many times before, am a massive Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I have watched the TV show hundreds of times, literally hundreds of times. It's one of those, it's like an old friend to me. I am deeply immersed in it. I know the show incredibly well. And I will say, the creators of this deck really know Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They also really know tarot, because they've come up with some amazing cards for the various, or amazing characters for the various cards. I did have these organised, so I had a few of my faves, and now I can't find them. So that's fun. I've obviously used it again and shuffled, and now I'm just going to have to kind of flick through things. But it is incredible, and it's got minor characters. One of my faves, this is the Page of Chalices card with Clem. If you know, you know. It is perfect for the Page of Chalices. The Sun card, that's a moment right at the very end of the series that, again, if you know, you know. Buffy and Spike together. Wow. So, I mean, the Empress as with Drusilla, this is one that I was like, I don't know about her as the Empress. She doesn't immediately bring Empress vibes to me. But then I think about it, I think, yeah, no, that actually makes sense. And I did find myself so many times, here's one, where I was just like, well, obviously, Cordelia is the Chariot, of course. You know, I would be flicking through the deck for the first time and be like, oh, well, of course. Well, yes, of course. Of course, Tara and Willow are the lovers. I mean, there's no, like, of course they are. The Hierophant has to be Giles. It couldn't be anyone else. So, yeah, look, it is a stunning deck, and Giles is a Fieral Demon for the 5 of stakes is brilliant. Again, if you guys don't know Buffy, you are at this point just going, what the hell is she talking about? And if you do know, then you know. So if you're a Buffy fan, get this deck. You will not regret it. It will be your favourite deck. And not only that, but the guidebook is really lovely to work with too. I have had someone on my Instagram mention that they think the guidebook has some errors in it that were from a previous version of the deck, and that they've changed the cards since then. I don't know if that's true. I haven't come across that myself yet. Look at this, the Gentleman for the Death card. I mean, it's worthy of a clap, really, isn't it? So, Oz the Hermit. Oh, yeah, it is now my new favorite deck, and I am just loving working with it. It feels like an old friend. It's clearly, you know, Rider-Waite Smith clone, but with Buffy characters. The guidebook is really beautifully written, and it feels like I've always known this deck, because I've always known this show. Well, I mean, I haven't always, obviously, but I know it so well, so I immediately know this deck, and it just feels right. So yeah, if you enjoy Buffy and you enjoy tarot, get this deck. It's awesome. Okay, and the last tarot deck that I want to show you is the Midnight Magic deck. As, again, I have talked about a lot recently, I have a current obsession with all things mushroom, and this deck is a tarot deck of mushrooms. It's really interesting. I'm still learning the deck. I'm still getting the feel, the vibe of the deck. I'm learning a lot about mushrooms in working with this deck, because each card has a specific type of mushroom, and they talk about the mushroom, and then they talk about how it sort of represents the tarot card itself. Again, it's a nice deck. I don't love the borders. You know me, I'm a borderless girl, but like some of the major arcana don't have these weird little borders, and I think they look better. But either way, it's good, and it has the name of the mushroom and the botanical name of the mushroom, which is cool. So I've got Hen of the Woods for the Empress, Grifola frondosa. I'm not very good at Latin, but Little Birds of the Woods, which is a psilocybin mushroom, obviously. Psilocybe hookshageni, as I said, don't know Latin too well. But Wheel of Fortune. It's a very beautiful deck. It's got a very dark forest underfloor, understory, almost a nighttime vibe to it. Star card, Golden Reishi. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm really loving it. I think it's a really lovely autumn or winter deck. I don't know if you work with your decks seasonally. I think for those of us who collect a lot of decks, we often do. For those of us who don't have many decks, we probably don't. But this one definitely has, for me, obviously that very earthy vibe being with the mushrooms, and it's got a very what's called Midnight Magic. So it's got a very nighttime and a very dark time of the year vibe to me. I'm loving it. I think the artwork is stunning. I like the fact that I'm learning more about mushrooms by working with the deck, because it really does go into not a lot of detail, but you know, talks about each of the mushrooms. So if you two are mushroom obsessed, I was thinking to myself the other day, the mushrooms of the 2020s are a little bit like the suns and moons of the 1990s. They're everywhere at the moment. Very, very popular. I, for one, am quite happy to jump on the trend. Always loved them. Now that they're everywhere and in everything, I love them even more. So I'm definitely enjoying working with that deck for that reason. So on the mushroom vibe, I have also bought myself the Mushroom Spirit Oracle. I know there's a lot of people out there who work only with tarot and don't really like Oracle. There are other people who tend to only work with Oracle because they find Tarot overwhelming. I love both, and I actually have more Oracle decks now than I have Tarot decks, which surprises me. I didn't count them the other day, but I was sorting them into a new shelving piece in my living room and wanted to put the Tarot decks on one side and the Oracle decks on the other, and that was how I realized I actually have a lot of different Oracle decks. And I keep buying more because I'm such a materialistic little goblin. So Mushroom Spirit Oracle, very different vibe from the Mushroom Tarot deck that I've just shown you. It's still very foresty, but it's a lot more sort of upbeat and light in both the artwork and the feel and the way it reads. It's beautiful also. Isn't that a gorgeous mushroom? The verdigris agaric. So again, something I'm really, really loving working with. I do find Oracle can be, not always, but can be a lot gentler than working with Tarot. Tarot tends to smack you in the face a bit. It differs deck by deck. I have some decks that are a little too brutal sometimes. I think I spoke about this in my Daily Magic video when I talk about, you know, when you are going through a tough time, a busy time, stressful time, and you just want to do a little bit of magic each day and you might want to pull a card. Choose a card that's not going to slap you in the face. Choose a deck that you can work with that you know is a little bit more gentle. Mushroom Spirit Oracle definitely fits the bill for a more gentle deck. Whereas the Midnight Magic Tarot deck, it's pretty... it's just very honest. I don't find it brutal, but it's honest. It doesn't mince words. Whereas this just puts a little lighter spirit on things. So next of my favourite current working decks is one that has been out for quite a long time. The Universal Folk Oracle by Anita Inverarity. She is an incredible artist. She's from Scotland. I sort of got to know her via the artist's website, Redbubble, which I've mentioned before to you guys in its sort of early incarnation. Although they sold products with your art pieces on them, it was more of a social media site for artists to share their art and talk to each other. And I got to know the work of Anita and also got to know her, and she is a really beautiful soul, really beautiful human being. I love her work. I've just purchased a print from her. I really wanted the original, but with the exchange rate and the postage, I just couldn't afford it. It was worth every cent, but it was just too much money, which is a shame. I have one original artwork of hers, or two originals, I think, and a couple of prints. And so when I found out that she had this deck, I was excited. She actually also has a tarot deck, which I think is out now. I haven't got it, and it's definitely on my list. I do find I have old eyes, people. Old eyes, and these wordsies are too small for my old eyes. I love the fact that you can get a deck where the book fits in the box, but at the same time, it's really hard, especially in the evenings, for me to read. But her work is unique. It's uniquely hers. She does a lot with these beautiful patterned bits within, like, you know, the fabric and the cloth and the backgrounds. And she does a lot with animals. There's a lot of animal symbolism in this deck. This is this gorgeous card, Curiosity. Experience, play, uncover, ask. Again, I love oracle decks that have a few keywords or a keyword so that I don't always have to refer to the deck. That's a beautiful harvest card. Oh, it's another one of my faves. This protection card with the cat. The thistles in the background. There's so much symbolism in these cards, and you can take it more at the face value and just look at the keywords. You can really examine the artwork for the symbols and symbolism in it. And then you've got the guide deck as well, where she talks about the cards. It's gorgeous. It's got a very, almost an Art Nouveau feel. Not traditional Art Nouveau, but there's sort of an Art Nouveau influence in there. Anyway, really, really beautiful deck. So another one I recommend. I love the backs. Look at that. They're so pretty. So I definitely want to get her tarot deck as well. I keep telling myself I don't need any more tarot decks, and I don't need any more tarot decks. No one needs as many tarot decks as I own. However, I like them. We all have to collect something. Well, we don't, but that's my excuse for now. So this is another one that I have only had a short period of time, very short period of time, as are the next couple that I'm going to show you. So this is the Wild Goddess Oracle. And this was literally just it came up as a suggestion on Amazon. Thank you, Amazon. Your AI is working for me. And I've actually, I don't think I will use this gigantic box. I don't love that, to be honest. But it's a beautiful guidebook with full color images, which I love. It doesn't have tiny, tiny writing, which I also love. And again, the cards are a nice size. It's fairly flimsy cardstock, but I don't mind that. And again, I love the fact it doesn't have a back, which can be weird when you're shuffling, because you keep seeing things go past. But I like the fact that it has its general meaning on the back of the card. So you pull a card, and we have the mask. So it's sort of archetypes as such. The artwork is sort of collage artwork, mixed media, which I also love. It has borders. I'm not a border person. Some people are. The mermaid. It's really beautiful. I really love it. It keeps slipping and sliding. I don't think either my table's not straight, not flat. My floor's not something. The shadow. Isn't this artwork gorgeous? I love this deck. Again, not one I've worked with for long. But I just think the artwork is really beautiful. It's my vibe. It's my style. I feel like, I mean, I don't create my artwork quite like this, but I resonate with the way this artwork is created. My artwork has hints of this style, I suppose. I love the vibrant colours. I love the fact that the goddesses or archetypes are different ages. There's not as much cultural diversity as I'd like, but it's not too bad. You know, it has some. Yeah. It's good. And I'm enjoying working with it. We'll see how we go with it. But I like it so far. I think I'll probably take it out of its little tuck box as well, because these boxes are a bit shit. I'll probably put it into a fabric bag, I would think, or a wooden box. Not sure which yet. But for now, I can leave in this little box. Wild Goddess Oracle. It's beautiful. Now this one probably needs no introduction. It's the 4th in the series, so they're halfway through the series now. I love the Seasons of the Witch Oracle decks. Love, love, love. They always come out at a really weird time for us in the Southern Hemisphere, so it's never the right time of year. But this one's come out earlier than I was expecting. I pre-ordered it, and it has just come out now. Obviously in plenty of time for Mabon or autumn in the Northern Hemisphere. It is well past Mabon here. I think this is my favourite of them so far. It's just, maybe it's partly because I love this season so much. But having said that, you know, the Samhain and the Yule oracles have both come out. And although I love them, I don't love them as much as I love this one. This one is just so special. It's gorgeous. The artwork is stunning as always. And it has this incredible autumnal colour palette and vibe and coziness. And this tea magic. I mean, it's just so up my alley. I love it. I love it. Look at this. You know, me and eyes and crows and skulls and all the autumnal witchiness. Yeah, so I look forward to next autumn when this is the seasonal deck that I work with at my altar. These seasonal decks I really do only work with for 6 weeks of the year. I know that for some people it doesn't matter, they will use them all year round. And I think this is one deck that I think probably this and the Samhain one, they're just very witchy, and I think that for a lot of people that works for us witches all year round. I have the Beltane deck, and it's my least favourite, not because it's not beautiful. I actually really resonate with a lot of the cards. But in each of the decks, there is certain symbols that pop up. And in the Beltane one, they're on the backs and everything, are bees, which makes sense. However, I have an extreme phobia of bees. I'm highly allergic to them and was stung a couple of times as a child and was very, very sick because of it. And since then, my experience with bees is that I have difficulty even looking at pictures of them. It is ridiculous. It is a phobia. It's not just a fear. So I don't do bee magic. So yeah, the Beltane one, I'm going to use it this Beltane. I haven't actually had it for a Beltane season because it came out, I think, this year. I think it must have been early this year. And so, yeah, it didn't come out in time for Beltane last year, I don't think. So, or even if it did, I didn't have it. So I'm looking forward to working with that. But anyway, that's not the one that we're talking about. We're talking about the Mabon one. Love it, love it, love it. If you love these Seasons of the Witch oracles, you will adore this. And even if you haven't had the others before, if you're a autumnal equinox, even I would even go so far as to say it's a little bit Halloweeny, not as much as the Samhain oracle, which makes sense, but there's lots of, you know, pumpkins and crows and cornfields and things in it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I cannot wait for them to complete all 8 Sabbats and have 8 decks that are one for each season, or, you know, each celebration, and I can use them every Sabbat, because I now have to wait from Yule through to Beltane to be able to use the next one, and then we have to go all the way through to Mabon. Oh. And the last deck that I am loving. This one I have had about a week, so I actually haven't done a single reading with it yet. So I can't tell you the vibe of the readings. I can tell you it is stunning. I like a lot of her decks. I'm really getting into Alchemy at the moment, as are a lot of people. And I think for a lot of people that stems from popular culture currently, talking about it. Obviously, the A Discovery of Witches television program has highlighted that, and that is based on the series of books. I know people who hate the series. I know people who hate the books because they feel like they're... Someone described them, crushed my little heart, because they described them as basically a riff off Twilight. And I'm like, don't do that. I actually think the first book might have even come out before the Twilight books, so go away. But I love the books. I read the books as they came out in the early 2000s, early mid 2000s. It was about 2006 or 7 for the first book. I love the TV series, even though they obviously have had to miss a lot of stuff out of the books to you know, truncate it for television. It's stunning. It has the most beautiful colour palette of any TV series I've ever seen, ever. And every time I watch it, I then want to create all of my art just in that colour palette and redecorate my entire house to match the sets of that TV series. I am going wildly off topic here. So to bring it back, the author of those books is a historian, and her subject of choice, she did her PhD in alchemy, or the history of alchemy. And then she wrote the books, and her main character is also an Oxford historian of alchemy, but she's also a witch. And spoilers, if you want to watch the show, skip ahead 30 seconds. She goes back into the past and actually learns from actual alchemists. And it's beautiful. So since I've read the books, adored the idea of the alchemy. I always sort of liked the idea as a child, I will say. You know, hearing about the Philosopher's Stone and, you know, the transmutation of base metals into gold and, you know, the elixir of life, essentially. And I found it fascinating. And alchemy really is the precursor to more modern science. So to me, it bridges the gap, because I believe in science. I definitely do. My father was a scientist, but I also believe in magic. And I think that alchemy is like this linking bridge between the scientific and the magical. And I love that. So it's a topic that I have wanted to know more about, and what I want to learn more about. And I am continuing my journey into the world of alchemy. And so when I saw this, and I already have 1 or 2 of Kim Kranz's decks. I have at least the Animal Spirit Oracle, but I think I have another one. I'm not sure now. God, I don't even know my own decks. Maybe I thought of buying it, but never did. Anyway, I love the shape of these cards. I think it's really unusual. I love her artwork. I know some people don't like this mix of black and white with colour, which I love. I also love, this one's got a little bit of a collage-y feel as well as the hand-drawn, and I love that too. You know, I love collage myself. I love collage in other people's art, and I love collage decks. Some people don't. There's a lot of, you do like collage decks. Well, that's all right. You don't have to like collage decks. Not everyone has to like everything. I just think it's beautiful, and I think it's going to be an interesting deck to work with, partly because of the shape. I mean, obviously, I think there's lots of work can be done with the spreads. I think you could, in fact, you know, read them in different directions. Isn't that beautiful? I'm really looking forward to delving further and working deeper with this deck. I think it's beautiful, and I think alchemy is a fascinating subject, and I want to learn more. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I have a massive great stack of books that currently has a cat sitting on top of it to also show you. But I was right in thinking this was going to go on too long, mostly because I'm a rambler. So I'm going to pause this here, and I'm going to record the next installment shortly and bring it out as 2 videos. So I hope you enjoyed this one and see you in the next.